Okay, so welcome to the question discussion session for the chapter haloalkanes and haloarenes. Okay, so the first question for you. Okay, I hope 1 minute. Okay, please go through the first question. This is the first question for you. You have C6H5CH3 reacting with bromine and FeBr3. This reaction is called. Can anybody tell me? So if you see here, you have benzene ring here, okay, like this. And what is connected there? You can see there CH3 is connected. So what is this compound is called? This compound is called toluene, correct? So what happens when toluene is treated with bromine? Okay, but here most important thing, it is not just treated with bromine. There is an, what is there, electron deficient species or Lewis acid is there. So if you look at the structure of FeBr3, it will be looking like this. Okay, so you have 3 bromine atom like this. Now if I am looking at the central iron atom, you could see how many electrons are here. So totally 6 electrons are here. So that means its central atom is vacant. It needs 2 more electrons to complete the octet. So what it will do is it will force this bromine atom to undergo heterolytic cleavage. Usually when same atoms are there, homolytic cleavage will happen and one electron will go with the bromine and other electron will go with the other bromine atom. But in the presence of an electron deficient compound like FeBr3, it will stay near to any of the bromine atom. So to which bromine atom it is staying near, okay, that bromine will try to attract both the electron towards it and it will force this to undergo heterolytic cleavage. So that what you will get Br plus and Br minus. So this Br minus will react with the FeBr3 forming Fe, okay, Br4 minus. This is a stable species. Now we know that bromonium ion, this is my actually what, my electrophile during the reaction. So this is the electrophile, and we know that CH3 group is what sort of group? It is an ortho-para directing group. It is an ortho-para directing group. All ortho-para directing groups are mainly activating groups. Okay, so what will happen here? This bromine atom will attack at the ortho and para position and you will get what is called, which one, tell me, para bromotoluene, and you will get ortho bromotoluene. Okay, para bromotoluene and ortho bromotoluene. Now we know that who is attacking here? Electrophile. And what it is doing, it is replacing a hydrogen atom present here, correct? And replacing the hydrogen atom present here. So we can say this is a type of what sort of reaction is this? We can say it is a electrophilic substitution reaction because electrophile is replacing it. So we can say the answer is electrophilic substitution. Is this clear for everyone? Hello? Hello, dear students. Is this clear for everyone? Please reply. Otherwise, it's very difficult. Okay. So you could see here at ortho and para position, the substitution happened. And we know that CH3 group is an ortho para directing group as well as activating group. Activating group will always circulate minus charge in the benzene ring. So we know that always benzene has always rich of electrons because of the 3 pi bonds. And in addition to that, this CH3 group will circulate minus charge at ortho and para positions. So that's the reason why we say it is what actually? Ortho para as well as activating group. Activating. Okay. Okay. I hope it is clear. Go to the next question. Tell me what is the answer for this one. So you have benzene diazonium chloride C6H5, okay, N2Cl, N2 plus and Cl minus, benzene diazonium chloride. Now this is being treated with Cu2Cl2 in the presence of HCl, and we know it's a famous reaction. Here what will happen? Nitrogen will be eliminated and you will get chlorobenzene along with the nitrogen. Okay, so this reaction with the Cu2Cl2 is called Sandmeyer reaction. Sandmeyer reaction. So please remember these like things. It is a direct reaction given in the textbook. So the answer here should be Sandmeyer reaction. Okay, Schwartz reaction, it is used to prepare fluorobenzene. Watts fatigue, it's a mixture reaction where I can say Watts reaction will have alkyl halide and fatigue reaction will have aryl halide like this. Okay, now after it will be reacting with 2 mole of sodium. So after the reaction, it will eliminate 2 NaCl and these two will get combined. So you will get again what is actually that toluene, benzene with the CH3. So here haloarine is there and alkyl halide is also there. So that's the reason why it is called Woods. This is fatigue, Woods fatigue reaction. Okay, Finkelstein reaction, it is used to prepare iodobenzene. Okay, so you can see here this reaction is called Sandmeyer reaction. And you can see here, suppose if we are using potassium iodide, you are getting iodobenzene. Okay, so that is also called Sandmeyer. So but in our reaction we are using Cu2Cl2, so that will prepare chlorobenzene. Suppose we are using Cu2Br2, then we will get bromobenzene. Okay, and potassium iodide is used, we will get iodobenzene. Now go through this question and tell me the answer. Which of the following solvent is suitable for SN1 reaction? I have taught in the last class. Can anybody tell me? SN1 reaction is favored by which solvent? Non-polar, polar protic, polar aprotic, all of these. What is the answer? Correct answer, polar protic solvents. So polar protic solvents is someone which is capable of donating H+. Famous examples are water is a polar protic solvent, methanol, CH3OH, all these are polar protic solvent. And we know SN2 reaction is favored by which type of solvent? We know it is polar aprotic solvent. Example, acetone, CH3, C double bond O, CH3. We can see here it cannot donate any H+. And other famous one is DMF, dimethyl formamide. Okay, so you know the answer. So we can say polar protic. Option 2 is the correct answer. Now we'll, okay, you are correct. Now we will switch to the next question. Tell me what is the answer for this one. They are given CH3Br. Okay. Okay, CH3Br is given and that is treated with OH minus. So what is the reaction here? You can see two things here. OH minus is given. So it is a what nucleophile? Strong nucleophile. Other important thing is you are given an alkyl halide. What sort of alkyl halide is this? This is a 1 degree alkyl halide. So tell me 1 degree alkyl halide and a strong nucleophile. What is the mechanism that will be followed? Can anybody tell? SN1 or SN2? Please remember that SN2, because we learned that in SN2 mechanism 1 degree reactivity is 1 degree greater than 2 degree greater than 3 degree. In SN1 mechanism 3 degree greater than 2 degree greater than 1 degree, because here we have two steps that will happen through SN1 happens through carbocation. And in SN2 if you see less steric hindrance is where there the SN2 will happen very easily. Okay, so less steric hindrance is very important factor. So if you see here we know that the 1 degree alkyl halide if you take, that is having very less steric hindrance. So we say less steric hindrance is the major factor which gates. And in SN1 what is the main factor? We can say stable carbocation is the main factor that governs the reaction. So in this one the answer should be which one? SN2 mechanism. Clear? It's a 1 degree alkyl halide and a strong nucleophile. I hope it is clear. Yeah. Now we'll go to the next question. Okay. Yeah, go through this question. It's a very good question actually. So you are given an alkyl halide. It's a 2 degree alkyl halide and it is treated with aqueous KOH. So what is the product formed in the reaction? Can anybody tell me? So first let me tell how this reaction happens, then we will go with the other one. Okay, so suppose I have told you that whenever you have a ring like structure is there like this, you can see here like this CH, okay, and you have Cl and you have CH3 is there. Now what is happening, it is treating with the aqueous KOH. Okay, please remember aqueous KOH, then it is always substitution can happen. But okay, so first step is what actually the halogen will leave away. So what you will get, so you will be getting a compound like this. You have CH plus and CH3 like this. Okay, now this is a carbocation, but whenever ring like structure is there, we should remember Bayer's strain theory. Bayer's strain theory states that always the strain will be very less in a higher membered ring. So here it is a cyclopentane ring, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So here whenever the nearby carbon has positive charge, what it will do here is it will undergo a phenomenon that is called ring expansion. Okay, I will tell you what is ring expansion. The bond present here will shift to this carbon atom. Okay, you can see here in the question I am drawing it, it will shift it to this carbon atom. So what will happen here, now you can see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So there are 6 carbon atoms nowadays, so I can redraw it like this. Okay, and this carbon atom has plus charge and there is a CH3 group here. So this type of phenomenon is called ring expansion. The easiest way to check here is check whether positive charge is present here. Then nearby, if you have a ring, then 5-member ring will convert to what membered ring? 6-membered ring. 4-membered ring will get converted to 5-membered ring. So how it will happen? Check for the nearby. Okay, so if you here you can check for the nearby carbon atoms. Only this bond and this bond will break and join here. No other bonds can do that. Okay, so this phenomenon will happen and you will get a carbocation like this. So now you check this carbocation, it has 2 hydrogen here near alpha hydrogen, here also 2 alpha hydrogen, and here 3 alpha. So totally 3 plus 2 5. It is stabilized by 7 alpha hydrogen. Now this will be attacked by OH minus at this position. So you will get finally a compound like this. You could see here you will have OH here and CH3 here. This will be the product. Any such product like that? Yes, I think option D should be the correct answer, option 4. Okay, clear for all of you? Hello, dear students, did you understand?
Yes, sir.
Okay, you can see again, you could see first step chlorine will go away, then positive charge will come here, then it will check nearby carbon atom has any ring is present or not. If it is a 5-membered ring, it will switch to 6-membered ring. Don't think like if 6 is there, it will go to 7. No, only up to 6 the expansion is there. So we can say like this, if it is a 3-membered ring, this will go to 4. If it is a 4-membered ring, it will go to 5. If it is a 5-membered ring, it will go to 6. This phenomenon is called ring expansion. It is called ring expansion. Why this is done? To form a more stable carbocation, C plus carbocation. Which theory it is following? It is following Bayer's strain theory. So how will you calculate strain using Bayer's strain theory? Strain is equal to 109 degree 28 minutes minus bond angle divided by 2 modulus of. So here if you see here when it is switching from 5 to 6, that is cyclohexane, the bond angle is almost 109 degree 28 minutes. So that is like this one. So if you calculate, this value will become 0. That means strain is 0 for cyclohexane. That is why it is easily able to do the ring expansion. And this is also the reason why cyclohexane exhibits what sort of isomerism? Cyclohexane shows conformation. You might have learned in your +1, boat form, chair form and everything. Cyclohexane is the only cyclic compound which exhibit conformation. It is due to this Bayer's strain theory. It has strain is equal to 0 value. Clear? So I hope it is clear for you. Now we'll switch to the next question. Go through this question and tell me what is the answer. You are given a tertiary alkyl halide. You can see here. Okay, a tertiary alkyl halide is given, and you are given alcoholic KOH. So whenever you see alcoholic KOH, we know it is what sort of reaction that is going to happen. We know it is elimination reaction. In the last class I have discussed. So elimination reaction along with the heat. So I can say it is a what sort of elimination? E2 elimination. And the next step, what is happening after getting the product A that is treated with HBr in the presence of peroxide. So here what effect is there? Kharash effect, or we say peroxide effect. So we will do that, then we will try to arrive at the answer. Okay. So let me say here you are given the compound CH3, C, CH3, then you are having CH3Br. So we know that alcoholic OH with the B2 elimination, what product it will form? We know that OH minus, here we have like a base, and it will abstract the proton here, then that bond will come over here, then this will go out. So you will get CH2 double bond C, CH3 and CH3. So you are getting an alkene after the E2 elimination. So next step what we are doing, this is getting treated with what? HBr. But here it is happening in the presence of peroxide. If peroxide is there, it will be anti-Markovnikov's. So what will be the product formed here? Can anybody tell? So we can say here the product formed will be, let me rub this. So you can see here the product will be this one. You have CH3, okay, CH3, double bond CH2. So addition across this. So bromine will come here, and you have hydrogen will be coming here. Okay, then it will get it to single bond. So CH3, CH, CH3, CH2Br. This is the product. So is there any product like that? CH3, CH3, CH2Br. Option 1 looks the correct answer. Is this clear for everyone? Hello, dear students. This is called anti-Markovnikov's addition. Here the mechanism is free radical mechanism. Okay. So in normal Markovnikov's addition, what will happen? The less hydrogenated carbon atom will be having the halogen coming there, and the most hydrogenated carbon will have the hydrogen. But in anti-Markovnikov's, opposite will happen. That is, the least hydrogenated carbon atom will have hydrogen coming, and the most hydrogenated carbon will have the halogen coming. Okay. So this is called anti-Markovnikov's addition. So I hope option 1 is the correct answer. Clear? Is this clear for everyone? Hello, dear students. So we have the next question in front of you. You are given an alcohol that is called benzyl alcohol, C6H5CH2OH. Now this is being treated with SOCl2. We know this reagent very famously. Last class I told this reagent can convert all alcohols or alcohol which is a strong OH group, which is a strong nucleophile. It can replace this strong nucleophile with what? Halogen. So here the halogen is chlorine. So it can easily convert this into CH2Cl, benzyl chloride. So this reaction is called Darson's process. Now what will happen? This is further treated with the KCN, that is K plus and Cn minus. And we know that Cn minus is a strong nucleophile. So it will easily replace halogen, which is a weak nucleophile. So what will happen? So you will get CH2Cn. Because weak nucleophile, it's a weak nucleophile means it's a good what actually leaving group. Very easily it will leave. So you can easily replace it with a strong nucleophile Cn minus. So the next step is we are doing H plus addition. So if you are doing H plus and there is, please remember here something is missing. So we can say it is hydrolysis. H2O is also there. So what is happening? You are hydrolyzing an acid. So cyanide hydrolysis, please see here, very, very important. On cyanide hydrolysis, how it happens is hydrogen in water will go here and oxygen will come here. On continue, so on after first step, what you are getting? C double bond O NH2. So you will get amide on partial hydrolysis. But if you are continuously hydrolyzing, then what will happen? here OH will come, and next step hydrogen will go here. So here this will be converting to ammonia, and this one will be converting to carboxylic acid. So you should remember like this: cyanide on partial hydrolysis gives you amide, which on further hydrolysis gives you carboxylic acid. So we can say, we can assume like this is undergoing continuous hydrolysis. So what you will get? C6H5 CH2 COOH. This is my answer. So the answer should be option 3 should be the correct answer. Is this clear for everyone? Hello? Please remember, this is a shortcut actually. So even cyanide is given and they are reducing it. What will happen? Apply hydrogen on both sides. Then it will become CH double bond NH. This is called imine. Now if you are again reducing it, apply hydrogen on both sides. Then this will become CH2 NH2. That is amine. So please remember this shortcut. Cyanide on continuous reduction will become amine. On partial reduction it will become imine. Cyanide on partial hydrolysis it will become amide. On continuous hydrolysis it will become carboxylic acid. Okay. Now, okay, let's see the answer. Same answer. Okay. Let's go to the next question. This you could answer. Which one is the most reactive towards SN1 mechanism? So we know that SN1 mechanism, the reactivity is determined by what? Stability of carbocation. So which of the following carbocation is more stable here? Can anybody tell me? So here if you remove this, you will get a carbocation like this, C6H5 CH2 plus. So this is stabilized by what? Resonance. Correct? Because it can plus charge, so double bond in the benzene ring can enter over here and it can result in resonance. Next one, if you see, you have two benzene rings connected to the, so when it is halogen is removed, this plus charge can enter into resonance here as well as here. So I can say this is more stable through resonance. Now if I am looking at the third one, so you have one benzene ring and one CH plus and you have CH3. So CH3 will stabilize this by plus I effect and this will stabilize by resonance. So this is not that good. But if you look at the last one, if you see, there is two benzene ring, okay, that is stabilizing along with one CH3 is there. So I can say these two will stabilize by resonance and this will by plus I effect. So the most stable one is option 4. So if this is the most stable carbocation, then this corresponding alkyl halide will react very fast. As I told you during the last class, first step is remove the halogen, form the carbocation, check which carbocation is more stable. If which, then the corresponding alkyl halide will be most reactive. Okay. So if you have doubt in benzene resonance, please see here. I am drawing that also. You can see double bond, and if you have a plus charge here, what it will do? Double bond, single bond, plus charge. So this double bond will shift here and this will disappear. Then plus charge will come here. Then this will come over here. Then plus charge will come here. Like that, it keep on circulating. That means that plus charge will get distributed. Now in this option, in the previous option, you could see there are, in the option we have selected this one, option 4. You have two benzene rings. So plus charge can delocalize over here. Also it can delocalize over here. In addition to that, CH3 has plus I effect. So it will donate electrons to here. As a result, this plus charge magnitude will decrease. That means it will become stable. Okay. Now go through this question and tell me what is the answer. You have carbon, okay, with the hydrogen, and you could see hydrogen like this, and you have hydrogen like this, okay. Then you have chlorine. Then this is treated with aqueous KOH. So we know substitution will happen, but we could see here chlorine is present here and OH is correct. So that means attack happened from the back side, and also this is a 1 degree alkyl halide. So what is the mechanism that might have happened? And here aqueous KOH means OH minus is there. So it's a strong nucleophile. So what is the mechanism? Can anybody tell me? Inversion is clearly shown in the figure. So the mechanism should be SN SN2 should be the mechanism. The reaction goes through SN2 mechanism. Okay, you could see here. Now look at this question and tell me the answer. The order of E2 elimination for alkyl halides is. So we have learned this for SN1. Okay. So we have learned this in SN1. The order is, we know it's a 3 degree, greater than 2 degree, greater than 1 degree. Okay, and for SN2, the order is 1 degree, greater than 2 degree, greater than 3 degree. For E1 and E2, both if you see, the order is 3 degree, greater than 2 degree, greater than 1 degree. Here also the order is 3 degree, greater than 2 degree, greater than 1 degree. So the answer should be which one for E2 elimination? It is 3, 2, 1. And the reason for that is I have told you in the last class. If you see here in a 3 degree alkyl halide, we know the first step in E2 elimination is the base will acquire H plus. So if you see here, this carbon is connected to 3 other alpha carbon. Correct? So totally 9 alpha hydrogen is available for abstraction by OH minus. So I can say that more probability is there for OH minus to abstract and start the reaction. That is the reason why we say E2 elimination will go with first 3 degree, then 2 degree, then 1 degree. Okay, so we'll go to the next question. Go through this question. 2-bromopentane is heated with ETO minus Na plus in ethanol. The major product obtained is. So 2-bromopentane CH3, okay, CHBr, okay, then you have CH2, okay, then you have CH2, CH3. So this is 2-bromopentane. So this is treated with the C2H5O minus and Na plus. So we know it's a strong nucleophile and in the presence of ethanol. And I taught you that there are two ways E2 elimination happens. One is in the presence of a strong nucleophile along with the heating. Other thing is in the presence of a strong nucleophile with a polar protic solvent like C2H5OH or CH3OH or even water. So here what will happen? Elimination will happen, and elimination we know that this is also alpha carbon, this is beta, this is another beta. So beta 1 and beta 2 is there. We know the general elimination is beta elimination. So from which hydrogen, which beta carbon, okay, so from which beta carbon atom hydrogen will be eliminated? Because if you eliminate from here, you will get the most substituted beta 2 using Zaitsev rule. Zaitsev rule. So I can say that from here hydrogen will be eliminated with the bromine atom and you will get CH3, CH double bond CH, CH2, CH3. This will be the product. Okay. So what is its name actually? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This is called pentoene. I hope pentoene should be the correct answer. Okay, that is the correct answer. Clear? And if you clearly ask, I can say this should be trans-pentoene, which is more stable. They may, in some question, they may say cis, but cis is more, trans is more stable than cis to avoid steric hindrance. Is this clear for everyone? Hello? So most students will have a doubt here, sir. Why don't beta 1? If you take remove from beta 1, what is the product you will get? CH2 double bond CH, CH2, CH2, CH3. Now if you look here, this carbon atom has 2 hydrogen atom. This carbon atom has 1 hydrogen and other hydrogen is replaced by this group. So as per Zaitsev rule, the most substituted alkene will be formed. Now if you look at this product, 1 hydrogen atom is there, 1 hydrogen is replaced by CH3. Here also 1 hydrogen is there, other is replaced by CH2, CH3. So here 2 substitutions are there. Here only 1 substitution is there. That's the reason why beta 2 is selected. Clear? I hope it is clear for you. Any doubt, please ask me. Okay. So I hope there is no doubts. Now let's go to the next question and tell me what is the answer for this one. You have a chlorobenzene which is treated with nitric acid and sulfuric acid. So they are trying to do nitration in this compound. Okay, so you could see here nitration is being done. So nitration, which is the electrophile in nitration, NO2 plus. And we know that chlorobenzene, chlorine, it is an ortho para directing group. So what will happen? The NO2 plus can attack either at the ortho position or at para position. But if you come at ortho position, there will be steric hindrance because you have a lot of cloud pair is there. So it will go to the para position, and the first step you will get para nitro, or sorry, para nitrochlorobenzene. Okay. Next step, it is being treated with a strong base NaOH at very high temperature. I should say it is 623 Kelvin. In your textbook, we say this. This is called Dow's process. Now here, since NO2 and EWG group is there, electron withdrawing group, always help you to remove this CCl bond or to break the CCl bond. Usually the CCl bond is very difficult to break. But if you have an electron withdrawing group at ortho-para position, it will help you to break the Cl very easily. That's the reason why even 623 Kelvin is not required. We need only 300 Kelvin. So next step, what will happen? The strong nucleophile OH minus will replace the chlorine, and you will get, I can say, para nitrophenol. So this should be the answer. Option 4 is the correct answer. Okay, clear? Is there any doubt in this one? So most of the students will ask a doubt here, sir. If you look at chlorobenzene, my doubt is this one. Chlorine, if it has lone pair, single bond, double bond, single bond, double bond. So this will enter into resonance, sir. So we will get something like this, double bond chlorine, and you will have minus charge coming here like this. So sir, there is a CCl double bond nature is there. So sir, it is difficult to break this bond, sir, right? In our textbook also it is mentioned that, but we know that the nitration HNO3 and H2SO4 nitration is done in order to introduce NO2 plus at ortho-para position. So once NO2 comes there at ortho-para position, it is very easy to break the CCl bond. Okay, why means the minus charge will come at para position, and NO2 group, which is an electron withdrawing group, it will easily acquire this minus charge. So thereby removing the electron cloud here, electron cloud density that is present here will be reduced. So that's the reason why textbook says that if you have more number of NO2 group at ortho para position, for example, NO2 at ortho, here NO2 at para, and you have one more NO2 here, and you have a chlorobenzene, it is very easy to break this CCl bond than this one with one NO2 group. So as many number of NO2 groups are at ortho para position, you can easily break the CCl bond in a haloarene. Please remember, this is a very important question for NEET exam. Okay. Now let's go to next question. Which of the following act as a poisonous gas? Very, very important. In our textbook, last topic, it talks about commercially important haloalkanes and haloarenes. So here we are talking about phosgene, which is a very, very poisonous gas, phosgene. Okay. So phosgene, which is very much poisonous, that formula is COCl2. So the answer is option 1. And CCl2F2, that is nothing but freon. Freon 1,2, chlorofluorocarbon, that is there in ozone hole creation and everything. So here the answer is 1. Okay, it is called phosgene. Okay, let's go to next question. Which of the following is used as a fire extinguisher under the name pyrene? This is also mentioned in our textbook. Pyrene is a common name for carbon tetrachloride because CCl4 is the main ingredient of fire extinguisher. Please remember, these are all important points. Fire extinguisher. It is commercially distributed under the name pyrene. So the answer should be option 2 is the correct answer. Clear? I hope it is clear for you. Okay. So it is sold under the name pyrene. Last question for the day. Which of the following is used as a refrigerant? Can you tell me? We know chlorofluorocarbons, CFCs, are mainly used as refrigerants. So here chlorofluorocarbons, chlorine and fluorine, is present only in this compound. So this should be my chlorofluorocarbon. So the answer is option 4 is the correct answer. Is this clear for everyone? Hello? Hello, dear students? Yeah. We'll do one more question and wind it up. Can you tell me what this is? CHI3. We know that CHCl3 is chloroform. Okay. And similarly, can you tell me what is CHI3? Iodine is coming for chlorine. So it is called iodoform. It is a yellow colored solid. Yellow colored solid, and this is mainly used as an antiseptic. Very important for exam, one time asked. Antiseptic. So here you can see antiseptic for wounds. So option 1 should be the correct answer. Clear? So I hope until now what we have discussed is clear for you. So we will continue this discussion in the next week also, and we will complete the questions. And please submit your notes if you have completely listened to the chapter haloalkanes and haloarenes. And if you have any doubt, feel free to ask in the doubt clearance group or even directly to me during this session. Okay, don't feel anything about it. Feel free to ask. It can be good doubt or bad doubt. There is nothing like that. Whatever you are not clear, please ask me. Okay, thank you. Have a nice day.